Hello, class. My name is Zoe Gibson, and I am doing my presentation on tamales. A tamale is a traditional Mesoamerican dish made from masa dough, with a usually savory filling and steamed in a corn husk or banana leaf. Tamales can have all sorts of fillings and preparations depending on how you like them. The earliest record of tamales is the Olmeca, Toltecs, Aztec, and Mayan civilizations. They were used as portable food for hunters, travelers, and often to support armies. Women were often taken along into battle as army cooks in order to make the masa for tortillas, stews, drinks, and other food. When the tribes grew in size, the demand for masa and more sustaining foods became so great that the tamale was born. Tamales could easily be made ahead and packed to be heated on top of coals when needed. The hieroglyph for tamales has been identified on pots and other objects dating back to 200 to 1000 CE in classic Maya, but it is likely that they were eaten much earlier. The fillings would have included iguana, turkey, deer, and fish, and they used corn husk as well as banana and avocado leaves for wrappings. Tamale making has been a tradition of Mexican life since pre-Hispanic times. Special fillings and forms were designated for each specific festival or life event. They are commonly eaten during festivities such as Christmas, Day of the Dead, Las Posadas, La Candelabra Day, and Mexican Independence Day. The preparation is famously complex and time-consuming. Often, women will make them communally. In Mexico today, tamales are made from nixtamalized masa, which is specially prepared corn, and also used lard or vegetable shortening. Whether they are wrapped in corn husks or plantain leaves, it usually reflects on the region from which they are made. They traditionally have savory but sometimes sweet fillings and are steamed until firm. The more popular fillings include meats, cheeses, vegetables, and chilies. In Mexico, they are seen as a comfort food and can be eaten as breakfast and dinner, and often accompanied by hot atole, a corn-based drink, and arroz con leche, which is a rice pudding. They are easily found, being sold by street vendors in urban centers. Often, tamales are made in tens or hundreds. I went online and found a good recipe for making tamales, and it had a lot of good comments on it from other people who make tamales with their families traditionally. So I read over the comments and made a list and went to the store and picked up all the things I needed for the recipe. I started with a pork loin and some water, an onion cut in half, and some garlic, and that cooks for about 3 hours. Some people said they cooked it overnight, but after 3 hours it looked pretty good. While that was on the oven cooking in like the last hour, I took my dried California peppers and I took all the seeds out and opened them up and put them into some water to boil. Those cook for like 20 minutes, and then it goes into a blender until it's really smooth. And then I strained out all the extra skin bits from the paper in order to make the sauce. And then I added a little cumin and some other spices. That gets mixed in with the pork once it's shredded, and all the juices from the pork get set aside. And that gets mixed with some masa harina and some baking soda and some salt and animal fat, and that's what turns into the dough part of the tamale. I learned that when you can take a teaspoon of it and put it in a cup of water and it floats, that's when the dough's ready to go. Someone said that it was really easy to undermix it, and that can make it too dry, or also it'll fall apart too easily. Then it comes to assembly. I put the dough on the bottom half to a third of the corn husk, and then I took a line of meat to put down the center. Then you can roll them up by bringing a top third down and the tail in over that, and then fold it in half again. And then you have a nice little tamale, and when you've made 5, then someone had suggested to bundle them up, and if you tie them together with twine or another long piece of corn husk, when they go into the steamer, they'll all stand upright because they're in nice little neat bundles. At this point, you can freeze them because they freeze really well, and especially if you make a lot, it's nice to do that, and then you can pull them out when you want to eat them. But I put mine in the fridge to make the next day since it was so late at night by that time. But then they just have to be steamed for an hour, and after that, you're all done. I made mine to go with our Madres de Mayo family event where we combine Cinco de Mayo and Mother's Day. We just have Mexican food because a lot of my grandmothers and my mom absolutely love it. So that worked out really well. and everyone seemed to like them a lot. The website also said you can make that sauce that goes into the meat to go on top of it with sour cream. I ran out of time, but I definitely think that would have been delicious, and they're also great with guacamole. Question 1. When was the earliest record of tamales? Question 2. What is one holiday when tamales are eaten? Question 3. What is something that tamales can be wrapped in? Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my cultural presentation on tamales.